Hello, today we're in Mark chapter 8. I want to talk to you today about the humanness of Christ. Christ had a dual form. He was fully God and fully man at the same time. Our tendency sometimes is to only look at one side of God. Jesus was either God or he was man, but he was actually both. Today I'd like to look at 4 situations in Mark chapter 8 that shows the humanness of Jesus. It begins this way. In those days, there was again a great crowd, a large crowd, and they had nothing to eat. Jesus called his disciples and said to them, I feel compassion on the people, because they've remained here for 3 days with nothing to eat. Have you ever thought about the compassion of Jesus? We know he's God, so he's compassionate, but when he walked the earth in human form, he had to have moved by compassion in so many different situations. Later on in the verse 11, it says, the Pharisees came out and began to argue with him, seeking from him a sign from heaven to test him. It says, Jesus sighed deeply in his spirit and said, why does this generation seek a sign? Truly I say to you, no sign shall be given to this generation. The humanness of Jesus. He sighed. You know, that sigh of disappointment. They're looking for a sign again. The third situation is they get in the boat and it says they forgot to take food with them. They only had 1 loaf of bread. So they're having the conversation about the bread, and Jesus warns them against the leaven of the Pharisees. They thought he was talking about the leaven of the bread. And then he says, no, what's wrong with you? I'm talking to you about the miracle that just happened, right? Finally it says, don't you understand? And he was saying to them, do you not yet understand? I think there must have been frustration on a human level with Jesus, with his disciples. And then they get to the place in Caesarea Philippi, and Jesus says, who do the people say that I am? And Peter says, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. And I always wanted to stand up and applaud Peter for saying that, right? You know what that's like when you're on top of the mountain and all of a sudden you're in the valley? Well, Jesus goes from there and says, you're right, I am the Christ. Then he goes on to talk to them about his death, that they're going to kill me. And then Peter rebukes Jesus. The audacity to rebuke the Savior, right? And this is what Jesus says to him. Get behind me, Satan, for you are not setting your mind on God's interests, but man's. Well, thanks for taking a minute today just to talk about the humanness of Jesus. I want you to know, because he came in human form, he can sympathize with our weaknesses. So today, ask God to help you in your weak areas.